I want to talk about dumping. No, not that kind of dumping. I'm not talking about going to the dump and taking your trash out either. What I'm talking about is brain dumping. If you've never heard of the phrase brain dumping before, what it means is you take everything in your head and you barf it onto a piece of paper, and then it's out of your head and on the paper. And that sounds like, well, fucking duh, really? But the important part about the brain dump is that you have so much going on in your head at any given time. You got stuff for work, stuff for your kids, stuff for your school, stuff for your job, which I already said. All the things in your life that are going on, not to mention cleaning your house, not to mention paying your bills, all this shit is all in your brain, and it's all fighting for your attention. And by getting it out onto a piece of paper, then you can look at it and you can start to make some sense out of it. And it's a little easier to do that when you've cleared your mind. I don't really meditate. Brain dumping is my meditation. Yeah, I dump for my meditation. So how do you brain dump? What's the process? There's all sorts of tools and goal setting shit and stuff out there that you can get. You could have planners that have goal setting things in them. You could go buy something like Laura Casey's goal setting sheets or power sheets. You can go, get watch webinars, and there's all sorts of shit to help you goal set and figure out what's going on in your life. But for a brain dump, none of that's really necessary. All you need is a piece of paper. Now, I have a caveat for this. Just a regular piece of paper could be all well and good, but if you're like me, you do it on just a loose piece of paper, and then you lose that piece of paper, maybe in the hell that is your purse, maybe in the hell that is your kitchen table, who knows? And then you start wondering, was there something important on that piece of paper that I can't remember now? What if it was like the secrets of life? What if without it, I'm going to like fuck everything up? Oh my God, what if that was and you start this existential crisis of, holy shit, what the hell did I have on that paper? Let's not do that. Let's be a little bit more purposeful. So step 1 for brain dumping, find a place to dump. An obvious place to brain dump could be, your planner. There's note pages. But if you're in the planner community like I am, you may consider that those note pages are about as precious to you as rare fucking something, some rare thing that people find precious. I don't know what. There's a few of them, and when you brain dump, you're not going to be pretty. It's going to be fucking messy, and you're going to be doing it more than once. A lot of the times I find myself brain dumping at least a couple times a week. I dump all the time. I'm not using my planner for it. You can. But like I said, step 1 is find a place to dump, and for me, I generally pick a notebook. Now, notice I have many of them. The one that I use often is just this cheap one I got from Target. I thought it was pretty, but the paper's not fancy. There's nothing fancy about this. It was a few bucks at Target. I don't feel guilty about covering it with my chicken scratch. I've used my Inkwell Press journal before. I try to use this for lettering practice, but every once in a while it's what's handy. So I've brain dumped in here before too. I'm currently using a confetti dory with some May books in it. If you don't know what May books are, they're the notebooks from May Designs, and I just have some in here for lettering practice. I have some in here for list keeping. I have some in here for idea just dumping, and so it makes sense to have one for brain dumps. Your next step in brain dumping is to take some time where people aren't fucking bugging you. It is really hard to empty your brain when you have children asking you for snacks, and you have your husband asking you what's for dinner, and you have, your phone fucking buzzing at you, and you got Facebook, and you got everything. No. Find yourself some time. It shouldn't take very long to find yourself. It doesn't take a long time to brain dump. It could be just 15 minutes at the most, but you need quiet. And you need to be left the fuck alone. So get yourself a little bit of time. Block it out. Turn your shit off. Tell everybody, leave me the hell alone. Or hopefully it's even at a time when maybe people aren't here. I'm sorry. That was a rant. But I'm emphasizing. You want to set aside some dumping time. And nobody wants to dump in front of other people. Step 3 in brain dumping. Let it all flow. Just let it all come out. Don't make it pretty. Don't Don't fancy your font. Don't worry about your handwriting. This is not something that's going to see the light of day unless you want to make a video about brain dumping where you're slightly connecting everything to other kinds of dumping. Don't worry about it. My dumping often just looks like, scribble. Scribble. It's all over the place. Like my handwriting in my brain dumping is so not pretty. It's like the opposite of pretty. Like I scribble, and the faster I can write, the faster I get it out of me. And we all know that as soon as you can get that dump out of you, it's a lot easier to move on with your day. So once you have completely cleared your brain of everything you can think of, it doesn't matter how little it is or how big it is, just write everything on there. The final step in brain dumping is to clean up your dump. Once you have everything on that list, it's all just scribbled and, crazy, makes no sense, but everything's there. Then, my friends who love to organize and make things pretty, you can start to organize and make things pretty. You could do something simple as just categorize it by urgent, important, less important, maybe one day. Like you could add categories like that. You could add categories like if it's house cleaning shit, you can just divide it up into like areas that you want to clean. You can color code. You can use pretty pens even if you're not color coding. There's all sorts of things you can do. But you want to look at everything on there. You want to figure out the stuff that you can handle right now, the stuff that maybe needs more work, the stuff that needs research. All sorts of shit that you can, there's ways that you can organize. And once you have everything out, you're going to kind of see what categories stuff falls under. There's a grid somewhere, that you have the squares and it's like urgent and necessary. I don't fucking know. There's something like that. And you can find it when you find task prioritization shit. I'm not a task prioritizer. I'm not good at that necessarily, but you can Google that shit. What I'm just saying is once you have your dump laid out in front of you, you want to take it and you want to make some sense out of it. Often I'll just start dividing things into, what I'll do maybe is take the dump paper and I'll take the fancy paper and I'll cross things off as I move them there. And once you have that master task list, that's one that I might transfer into my planner and start using in the next step of my life of planning, which is my pre-planning. That's how I brain dump. It's a very important part of how I plan because it informs so many of the to-do lists that I have. This was part 2 of my series on how I plan, and part 3 will be my pre-planning of my week. And having that brain dump done actually helps you out. I hope to see you tomorrow with the next part in this series. If you haven't yet, subscribe if you want to see more of my fun, my shenanigans. If you don't, no big. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.